So now, karibu to Albo. No, no. If you may have noticed, now I have done a little rebrand, because kind of Alboa cinema was not encompassing everything that I am doing, or at least what I talk about, and I have changed it to my name, Albert Nyakundi. So you can see the Albert Nyakundi, but if you like Alboasina Masawa, but it's really because I'm trying to expand really my range of content on this particular one. Of course, I'll lean more towards film entertainment and whatnot, but there's so many things going on in the world. And I think I should blabber my lips to along to it and add my voice. So on this is now this channel, Greg Doucette, is a channel that I'm following around just before the COVID. It's about fitness and whatnot. This is like a fitness guy. So he does very interesting videos on this particular one. I'm really talking. I want to really talk about the kind of Hollywood transformations you see, especially with male actors, when you're talking about superhero characters, where a guy puts on so much muscle or he transforms his body so much. How they actually do it, for most of you, I don't really have to tell you. It is steroids most of the time. I would say 90% of the time. So one of the actors, came out and said this is what I was taking and whatnot. So that's what we are going to listen to, and then we will transition to actually what happened to The Rock. Yes, The Rock cut quite a bit of muscle. He came out said, you know, I was cutting for this role. There was a role he was playing. How is it? It's called. It's about a former. Yeah, this The Rock, the Smashing Machine. So a movie he did. So he said he cut the weight for that role, but it doesn't make sense because even on the trailer. By the way, forgive me, it is raining, so you might hear some thunder, some rumbling, and whatnot. So what he said is he was cutting for the role, but even the role is something somebody is very muscular, and the way even it was shot, he still didn't look like he cut weight. Maybe, but there is now information that showed that he had a heart issue. A lot of steroid use leads to heart issues, heart enlargement, or whatnot, and it's not a good thing. Anyway, the Rock is known for managing his image quite thoroughly, but he lies a lot also. But then, if you think at 50 something like that, you look like that naturally, then I have a ski resort to sell you in Kisiwa. So, anyway, let's watch what Greg Doucette is going to say about. Where is that video? Yes, 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 yes. Yes, there it is. So let's listen into what he's saying then. I'll give my commentary. Kamakawa, watch us subscribe. Subscribe real quick. Let's
He
continue.
doesn't give a fuck. He's just like, I'm going to tell it like it is. Coach Greg and
So this is the things people really have to do in serious movie business. When you are doing serious transformations, sometimes they build things from scratch. It also means you human beings, sometimes you have to go and inject something to add some muscle to look like Superman or something.
finally, a Hollywood actor has openly admitting to using performance-enhancing drugs.
So this guy is a former bodybuilder. Yes, he used to use those those SARMs, SARM, the various steroids that they're using. So he came off and he does a lot of that education on that part. He's pretty knowledgeable on the matter because, of course, he's been one of the guinea pigs.
In order to play a movie role. And so we all knew it, but finally someone had the courage to do it. And who is that actor? None other than Shia LaBeouf. And so this guy was the main actor in the movie Transformers back in the day. Most people have seen Transformers. And you've seen his physique. He isn't a mountain of a man. He's not the mountain who recently deadlifted an all-time record, 510 kilograms, looking easy. Looked like he had 10, possibly 20 more kilograms. And so he lifted 1,124 pounds. It looked like he could have lifted over 1,150. It's ridiculous, diabolical. I personally hope that he retires because I want him to be around for a very long time. I'm sure most people want him to just keep using performance enhancing drugs. You don't lift those kind of pounds natural, but we shall see. And so Shia LaBeouf, he went from 165 pounds to 220. That is a lot. That's 55 pounds. And no, it wasn't lean muscle. It wasn't all muscle, but it was, in fact, 55 pounds. And so if you were to just see his physique at 220, you'd probably say, yeah, he could have done that naturally.
Hey, that's a lot of weight to put on. 55, that's about 20 kilo, about. Your conversion pounds to kilos. Let's just say that we round off to the nearest 10. It's 20 kilos. Jesus Christ, that's a lot. That's a lot. I've put on quite a bit myself. I think like 10 or so. I feel horrible. I am coming back. I'm cutting it. To the gym anyway. Yeah. So that's a lot. That's a lot.
You know, natural.
And depending on this, also the amount of time you used. That's a lot.
But with the time frame that he did it in, and remember, he's now 39
Yes.
years of age.
Uh-huh.
He didn't do it natural, and I'm not making this up. I'm not the
This-
catabolic twig. I don't just pull stats out of my ass. He admits it himself. He's very open.
Tell us a little about a bit about the process and how.
We did training, did some pad work, did some bag work.
And so he had to play the role of a boxer. He's 5'9" tall, and so 5'9" and 220 is a very big man. I'm
That's-
5'6", 190 pounds, and so it's bigger than me, but it's
He calls himself a manlet.
It's not all lean weight. And so because he wasn't lean, many people thought, oh, he just ate a little bit more chicken, broccoli, and rice. And that's what happened. Perhaps some ice cream on the side.
It's like hard dance.
Hard dance.
Yeah, like boxing in movies is not like what he knows. It's hard dance.
And so as we're seeing him in this interview, he's got the massive mustache, the shorts on. He doesn't even look like he works out. Like if I didn't know any better, I would say this is just a guy that just goes about his daily life. He just perhaps plays video games, eats, goes for walks, and doesn't do anything physically active. I wouldn't call him looking like an athlete, but yet this was the guy that betrayed the boxer. An athlete. A man who's...
The thing is, if you cut weight and then you're able to see your definitions, you light it the right way, because even Instagram people, they do it. You light it the right way. It will look bigger than you are because of the shadows and the contrast. It's a technique in lighting for photography and film. So it is what it is. It's you don't have to actually add weight and become bigger. But if you become defined, you can be filmed to look bigger. But even a lot of these guys, if he removes his shirt and you see all the muscles on everything, it's very defined, they tend to give you the illusion of looking bigger, but most of them have actually shrunk up. Just a optical illusion.
very, very fit. But people I know in the past, for example, Hussein Farhat, they think that he used to take steroids and that since that time he stopped and just kept all his gains. Where are his gains? He went from 220 pounds down to 165. Why? Why?
It's when you stop, because you've used extra, juice. So you gain very fast, but if you stop, you lose it very fast also.
Didn't he keep his gains? What I'm trying to teach people is that if you decide to take steroids, you don't just keep all of those gains.
Yep.
Let me think if I can think of another example. There's this guy, people call him the Pebble. The guy...
Now it's the Pebble. So this is a picture that we did rounds when he was out there after he's lost the weight. It's quite. You see, the thing is, like, if he removes his shirt and what, he will still look pumped because he still has the muscle, quite a bit of it. But because it was so excessive before, you can tell immediately that, hey, this guy has cut quite a bit. So that's what's going on. And as far as I'm concerned, he did it because of the heart problem, not because of the role. At least from the information I've gathered, admittedly from one of them is from this Greg Doucette fellow. It's convincing. Because there's videos of him talking about the heart condition just before whatnot. Yeah.
guy who didn't want to be a tombstone. He wanted to live longer than last time. He used to be called the Rock. He lost 50 or 60 pounds of muscle. Do you think
Dear
he's
God.
100%
That's a whole
natural?
child.
Like, do you really think that he just, did Ozempic to lose all that muscle? But yet he lost it.
Yes.
How? Because he stopped abusing steroids. And so
Yes.
when you take steroids and you stop them,
That's the bottom line. That's really what I wanted. It's a health thing, but I'm also talking. This is now how entertainment works. How they make believe. What people have to go through to make you believe they're that person. I personally think it's admirable, but you see, there's also this thing where steroid use can kill you very quickly. Yes, it can. Heart conditions, there's so many issues that come up. If you look at Ronnie Coleman right now, who was like a former one of those bodies of the past, I feel pain watching him even walk, man, because he has back issues, knee issues, just everywhere. He was in hospital just recently. It was bad. It's one of those things where, yes, even these guys tell you they put a lot into it, but I am guessing maybe the damage is not as much if you're just doing it for a short time for a role. I don't know. Maybe that's where they play the card. They say, if I just do this for 6 months, get the muscle I need, the definition, then I get off. So you lose all your gains. I suspect if you do that, also because a lot of this also stops natural testosterone production. That's one of the biggest things. So for this guy, it stopped because he used them for a lot of time to become a the pro for this thing they do bodybuilding. And then he had to now start taking weekly doses of testosterone, TRT, so that he can continue to perform naturally and keep his muscle. So that's one of the biggest side effects of this thing, because the steroids do stop natural production because they mimic testosterone at high levels. So the body it's always having injections of it in excess in the bloodstream. It stops producing. Now you continue. That's the end of the biology lesson for today. Let's continue with the Greg.
your muscles is going to go down no matter what you're thinking. Try not thinking that anymore and listen to reason. And so as he's hitting up the front double bicep, bro is over 25% body fat. I mean, maybe he's 30% body fat. He's certainly not lean. And so when people see before and after transformations, if the after doesn't end with a six-pack, people think, well, it probably was natural. If you use steroids, you're going to see abs. It doesn't work like that. Steroids don't give you abs. This comes from a calorie deficit. So just because you take steroids, you're not going to be lean. And so for most people, if you just...
Yes, that's the thing. For most, you will not when you look at the people who are ripped on social media and whatnot, most guys, it's already genetically they're endowed with that. So they add this thing, it just blows. So if you are... I personally, I'm not sure if... I probably would get... Because I've tried it and I've seen it can happen. I probably would get a decent body out of it, but it's not really. I'd rather do it naturally. Yes, I'm going to do it naturally. Dieting and just doing exercise on the rooftop. I'm starting content up here. Fitness over 40. How about it? Anyway, let's continue.
Go to the gym and work out, and you don't care about your diet and you don't do cardio, this is the kind of transformation that you're going to make. The way you see his finished look right here, most people who take steroids, that's what you're going to look like.
Yes.
You can see how he looks now that he's off of them. And so if he were to go back on steroids, most likely that's the kind of physique that he would have. And so it gives you an appreciation of what you would look like. Many of you think you'd look like perhaps Coach Greg, Hussein Farhat, or Chris Bumstead, but that is very, very rare. And so just because you take steroids doesn't mean in the end you're going to end up with your fantasy physique.
Now let's see.
The world is super sexy. I knew I was,
And so you can see he's working on the tricep press downs. He doesn't have abs. He doesn't have a six-pack, but he is significantly bigger. If I had to guess, I would say that this is what people actually think of when they think of a dad bod. They're thinking,
And I'm going to pause that because there's this thing about The Rock that's more important. It's more important.
There's not a chance in hell he's clean. Not a chance in hell. As big as The Rock is, at 50.
My muscles are gone, and I've lost 60 pounds.
They're not all gone.
Yes.
Coach Greg, in today's video, Joe Rogan criticizes The Rock. He calls him a liar. And as you've seen in the past, he's...
The thing is, The Rock keeps saying that he keeps that muscle naturally. It is not possible. That's all everyone that knows what they're talking about is saying. But he said that, so then you find yourself, Mr. Celeb, that now when you lose the muscle, people are like, yeah, how? Why? Hey, it's your role, yeah. You could play that role with that amount of muscle. As a director, I would use it with even more muscle so that it's more, it will look better on film. Yes. Even the character he was playing, because of the nature, beastly guy, that would have worked so great. Even if it doesn't totally reflect what the person looked like. But it would have worked for the film.
Says there's no possible way that The Rock was 100% natural. That to get that much muscle, you're not just on HRT, that you're abusing steroids in high doses. Joe on The Rock playing...
Yeah, this is the guy. You see, if I... Did he play this role when he had cut? Because he doesn't look like it. He doesn't look like this guy. He cut because of the heart issue. There's no other explanation in my
Mark
opinion.
Kerr and his dramatic weight
That's
loss.
the most convincing explanation to me.
Before I get into this, personally, I think that this
Hey, but
is
it's cut a
all
lot.
planned out and clever marketing. I
Yeah.
mean, The Rock is getting so much attention, so much publicity. We're all talking about the smashing machine, Mark Kerr, and so on. And it's all because The Rock lost all of that weight. And
Yeah.
so if he hadn't...
Yeah, so obviously, Hollywood has to take, because they knew if they bring out looking lean, talk about it, then you see, oh, why? Then you say, oh, it's because I was doing this movie. It's clever. So they've always been able to hijack that kind of narrative or create it and then hijack it. But it doesn't, I don't know how the movie did. I hear people praised it. I guess it's good. I guess, I don't know, but I might watch that one actually and fun, just to see, because I actually want to see if he lost, because it's also not, might be difficult to tell if it's before or after, because we don't know how he looks under this shirt right now, because he might look just ripped, and if you light him properly, he looks big. So anyway,
lost the weight, I don't think the movie would have done quite as well. The Rock is an actor, and my opinion on actors is they're professional liars. I mean, that is their
in a manner of speaking,
job. They go in a movie and they play a role, a character.
it's pretend. The career is pretend. We know what it is. That's why I never take myself so seriously, where like my art is, this is going to be this world change. I just, we are entertainers. Like, just do your job, give people some good escape, and don't need free the seals. Anyway.
They read a script and they are very believable. And so when The Rock tells you something, oh, I only used steroids when I was 19, I'm the hardest worker in the room, he can say
The thing is, you can still take steroids and be a hard worker. I mean, they're not mutually exclusive. I mean, you still have to work out really hard to keep the muscle, even if you're taking the steroids.
things, and it does seem believable because he appears to be a very nice guy. However, when you add up the amount of times that he's lied in his past, and understand
Yes,
that
he lies a lot.
when you do these high-budget films,
At 50, man, you have to do something. There's no way. You have to do something to maintain this level of muscle, because it's one of the hardest issues to maintain. Because you just don't maintain it by eating. You have to stress the muscle all the time, tease that is, so that it can keep it on. So, but you see, the older you get, the less testosterone you produce, so the less muscle you're able to keep. So when you take steroids or TRT, you can do that. And if you have the genetics for it.
most likely they tell you, or perhaps they even force you to sign a contract and say that you're natural, and so you can't come out and admit it.
How about The Rock had to get on more steroids to play him in a biopic? That's
Yes.
how big Mark Kerr was. They're like, hey,
yeah.
hey
If you
Rock,
want it
we
to
need
be
you to play Mark
legit.
Kerr. We need you to get him on more steroids.
That's what I was saying. He didn't need to cut the weight to play that role. You would have looked better with the weight on. So, hey, it's science.
Rumor has to stop that The Rock lost weight to play the role of Mark Kerr.
No,
He
there's
needed
no
more
way.
steroids. Have you seen The Rock in that movie? Mark Kerr was 6'1" and 260. 260 pounds. The Rock
That's
is
like 115. No, 130, between 120 130. I think. We are kilogram people. Come on.
taller than that. And so if he were only 260, he would look rather
Metric.
svelte in comparison.
Yeah.
And so he had to hop on even more to get even bigger. And so for people saying, oh, yeah, it's for the movie, he's playing a part, it wasn't for the movie. Look at him in the movie. Look at the size of him. What happened?
That's what I was saying. You see, okay, the lighting can do the effect if the guy has enough cuts, he's ripped. But still, he looks big over there. So he lost the weight.
Was
after.
following the movie, he lost all that weight.
He lost a lot of weight. Have you seen him now? He's slimmed down. I bet getting that big probably felt like shit.
Technically, getting that big doesn't feel like
Yeah.
anything. It don't feel like shit. Your body, it gets used to it. It's a slow progression over many years. It's not
Yeah.
like The Rock put on.
This is the thing. He's been kind of in that body eras for like over 2 decades, wrestling, whatnot. Like he's been doing that, but to maintain that, because he still does the wrestling gigs. They broke my heart the day I found it was fake. Then UFC came, martial arts, mixed martial arts, and I cannot watch. I know that people watch WWE, the wrestling, but I can't. It's soap opera for men. Fine, I don't like soap operas.
50 pounds of muscle in a month. It's something that happened over several years and actually decades. You don't notice the high blood pressure. You don't feel that whatsoever. You don't feel that you've lost your cardio. I know I didn't. I used to do triathlons for 13 years, and then I slowly put on weight after that. And so you don't feel anything because from one day to the next, you don't really notice anything. The Rock probably was just happy with the muscles that he had, the roles that he was playing, the $800 million that he had made from being a blockbuster superstar.
Hey,
but
my
there
friend.
is a
With 800 million, you can take the steroid. Yes, you will. I guess it's one of those like risks that you have to take. But I guess you can get also a bit obsessive because maybe you get stuck on the idea that if you don't keep that body the way it is, or maybe it's just reality. If you don't, you're not gonna get the roles. $800 million. What do you think? What do you think? Can you endanger your life for $800 million? Because the thing is, you could live for as long as Schwarzenegger is old now. He also had an issue with his heart, did the surgery, and he's fine till now. He still works out. You see him doing things on TikTok and whatever, Instagram. He's old, yes, but he was a professional bodybuilder, destroyed his heart through the steroids. It's happened to so many of these professional bodybuilders, even amateur bodybuilders, but they will use steroids. So it is what it is. Is it a risk you're willing to take on people? $800 million, fame and fortune.
humbling moment when you get an MRI, a CAT scan, an AI test.
Coronary
I don't
artery
care what it
disease,
is, and they
yes.
discover in one of your
But you see, also they just say that, and I think there's probably more issues. But it is what it is.
arteries in the
They
Rock's
can't
face,
say
the
everything.
circumflex artery, that there's plaque buildup. Now, the doctors, they try to cover it up by
Yes.
saying, oh, it was there from birth. It's some form of an obstruction, but that's normal. And The Rock, he doesn't take any medications whatsoever. I mean, was The Rock a part owner in this company? Why would he go on record and say all of these things, but yet deny the fact that he was on any medications? Do you really think a guy in his 50s who's abusing...
Especially when you're on that level, you have all that access. The rain has gotten a bit more, but this video is tam-tam. Let's finish.
copious amounts of steroids isn't taking anything to mitigate those damages? First off, testosterone is medication. And so
Yes.
if he was on testosterone, of which
TRT, testosterone replacement, which I'm absolutely convinced he's on because of how long he's been on steroids. He doesn't have natural production. I would bet something on it. I would bet my camera.
I highly think that he is. That is a medication. What about if he had high blood pressure? He could be on telmisartan. Was he perhaps on a statin to control his cholesterol? Do you not think that The Rock, with hundreds of millions of dollars, would have been taking everything possible to be as healthy as possible
Yep.
and also have all those muscles? I mean, why wouldn't he?
You
And
take the best steroids with the best people, measuring, for you. You need this. That's what I would do if I'm looking for $800 million.
based on his blood work, based on what we heard,
Yes, I'm telling you, I would do it. I would do it the best possible way, the healthiest possible way. I know there's still risk to it, but I think I'll mitigate it better. And then you see, the thing is, when you manage your image also better on social media. So even if you are cutting weight, you're telling guys, man, I'm starting to feel this muscle is too much, man. I need to. So you start to cut it slowly on social media as you're reducing your doses. I'm giving you these tactics. So you're reducing your doses till now. When you cut, when you hit people with something like pop immediately, the reaction can go. It's usually quite visceral. But when you make small changes over time, they kind of accept it. That's a tactic, apply as you may.
it seems highly unlikely, as in 1 in a billion, that The Rock wasn't taking abusive doses of steroids.
That's
if you're
what I
interested
think
in
so.
getting your blood work done or getting
Yeah.
telmisartan or
the thing is, I normally leave guys to their ads. If they have ads, I let them play because I'm reacting to their content and they're also making money. You guys might need these services. Greg Doucette, he's a
perhaps
good guy.
chlomethine, Cialis,
I'm giving thanks for
tirzepatides to help
this
you lose
video.
weight, and having a medical doctor go over your blood work.
Yes.
Click the link in the description, code Greg, to work with Algo.
I'll put the link to this video because I'm not watching all of it, by the
prescription
way.
medications, and they can in fact go over your blood work to explain exactly what it means. What's the point of getting blood work if you don't know how to read it?
They all want to do that. That's
he
why
wants to get into politics.
Batista. That's why he.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And so Joe is saying, look, how is this any different than Batista? And just because
I don't know if I did a video about this, but then this is another case. I was trying to remember what I was like. This is like, have you guys seen the astronomical? You see, they're both wrestlers. They both had to be on steroids to keep these large muscles for their characters in wrestling. And then they became big actors. Then they had to keep the muscle because really the reason they're in the movies is because they were these wrestling characters. And then they came with that, they're just trying to cash in on the following of these actors. If they pull off a good acting, as Batista has over the years, but they're pretty impressive. But goddamn, what are you wearing, Batista? Hollywood does things to people.
The Rock is significantly smaller, perhaps he's down 50 or 60 pounds,
Yeah.
doesn't mean that he's still not a very large man. When you're that big,
Yeah, because some of these guys are like 6'4". Like The Rock, I think he's like 6'4". That is like 250 to 60 pounds, which is like 120 kilograms. It's a huge behemoth of a man. So even if they cut weight, they're still 6'4", and they're still stuck to the muscle. It's just comparative. Don't.
even without all that extra weight, you're still a large man. Batista, 6'4" and 240.
Yeah.
It's still huge, but in comparison to 300, it is in fact a lot smaller. Now The Rock, who's losing all this weight,
So
can
these guys are like 140 kilos. Man. God damn.
actually pivot. I mean, why would he want to become a tombstone? He couldn't keep doing the things that he was doing in order to keep all that size. And so he can now pivot in his career. He doesn't need to play the same exact roles. And so what a great opportunity for The Rock to use this as a scapegoat,
Come
as
on.
a cope. Guys, that's
Cope,
the
yeah.
downside for this role to play Mark Kerr. The movie was recorded and finished before he lost all that weight. And so do you not think it's
It's okay. I didn't watch this video, so it's just like, that's what I thought. He's also, I think he's confirming. I think he counter-checked. So, yeah.
more likely that after hearing about the circumflex artery that was almost blocked, that he's thinking, you know what? I'd rather avoid getting a heart attack. And so I'm going on the lowest doses possible, and I'm going to shed off a lot of this muscle. The Rock's PR is off the chain, declines being on gear for over a decade, almost got a heart attack and his health went down bad, and needed to get off the gear, and blames the weight loss on his new movie role. It's almost as if people are gullible. Of course they are. Like you and I who are watching this video, we know better. But do you think that the average person in the world doesn't understand that The Rock wouldn't just lose 50 or 60 pounds of muscle in a matter
Yeah.
of months if he
Yeah.
were to change up his diet? Really? You think that if you're natural that you suddenly lose 50 pounds of muscle?
No.
If he was-
So I'm going to stop that there. So I'm going to leave both videos links down below so you can go watch this. You can subscribe also to Greg Doucette. Some good health and fitness information. So this is new era. I am trying something new. There's going to be a much wider variety of topics I'll talk about, react to. Of course, I'll do the movie reviews, but I want to do the out of theater kind of. I do a vlog. I go to the movies. After that, I rate the movie on different things, blah, blah, blah. Yes, that's really what I think is going to be full. Otherwise, like on reactions, I want to talk about just about anything that I want. Yeah, because I think there's just too much going on that I find interesting, that I think you will also find interesting. In fact, my best video is when I went to Diani to hang out with Kibe, the one that has been watched the most, and it was long. There were two, part 1 and part 2. And this is the most watched video on my channel. So there's the other things you guys read, and also many of you are actually subscribed from that particular video, which I appreciate a lot. And the movie things, it moves along, but like Kenya, we've not had a movie come out for months now. Like there's nothing to talk about. I don't watch Kenyan TV because the programs are shit. Let's just be real. And there are a lot of series that are come out and they're not really capturing. So I have to talk about other things. I will talk about movies from China, Japan. Just say the movies that really like hit me, because I'm trying to expand my viewership. I've watched them before, but I've not reviewed. So I'm going to do more in-depth reviews. So otherwise, please leave me a comment on whether you think this new move, this new revamp is something that you will appreciate. And also leave a subscription there. The road to 10,000. Yes, I've been monetized. Yes, I forgot that part. So I'm just sorting things in the background. Yeah, but I've been monetized, so I'll be doing more videos so that I can hopefully make more money and get more subscribers. Hopefully, all these things we are doing, we are trying. Yes, yeah, like real quick, hard for the algorithm. Otherwise.